Now, lesson 4.5 is solving quadratic equations by factoring. So I do this quiz, the quiz that you're now going to take tomorrow. I do it so that we've done everything up to solving equations, and then we'll solve equations after the quiz. So what you have to remember for tomorrow on the quiz is you only factor. Don't try and continue and solve. Okay? So we're just, you'll just factor quiz tomorrow. Solving equations with factoring, I'll be honest, the easiest version of solving quadratic equations is factoring. Period, end of statement. Okay? You just have to know how to factor. We'll get into some of the harder things later. What do we do when factoring fails? But today we get to factor. So we have something called the zero product property. And the zero product property says if A times B equals 0, then either A equals 0 or B equals 0. Because what do you know when two things multiply to equal 0? It's 0, right? One of them has to be 0. If A times B is 0, either A 0 or B 0. And that's the idea we use behind this. Your number one question as you start these problems today is first of all going to be, does my equation equal 0? We can't use the zero product property if our equation doesn't equal 0. So the first question you always need to ask yourself, does it equal 0? So does my example 1 equal 0? It does. Okay. The next question I would ask myself, what's your typical first factoring question you're supposed to be asking yourself? Is there a GCF? Is there a GCF? No. Between x squared minus 5x and plus 6? There is not. Okay, so we asked ourselves those questions, right? That's kind of, well, I really shouldn't put a check there, should I? That doesn't make sense. Is there a GCF? No. That makes better sense. Okay, so it's all about factoring today. How do I factor x squared minus 5x plus 6? This was something like this could have been on the quiz you should have been taking right now.
What?
Parentheses?
Yeah.
Yeah, where we're going to be set up to break this into 2 parentheses, which are x times x.
Yeah.
Like you legitimately could have on your quiz x squared minus 5x plus 6, factor it. That's a legitimate question. It could be on your quiz. So x squared is x and x. How do I decide what goes in the parentheses?
Sum of 6. Probably product of sum of 6. Negative 5. I can tell.
Okay, so right here, a product of the C term. So a product of 6, a sum of the B term. So yes, a product of 6, a sum of negative 5. Or if you don't like the word product and sum, I want two numbers that multiply to be 6 and add to be negative 5. So what numbers multiply to be 6? 1 and 6, 2 and 3 are your options. You've got to make the signs work. How do we multiply to be a positive?
Same sign.
Same signs. Both positives or both negatives. How do we add to be a negative? Both negatives then. So which do we need? 2 and 3, with them both being negatives. So in my parentheses, one's going to be minus 2. The other's going to be minus 3. If this is the quiz, you stop. You're done.
We're not stopping then.
When there's an equal 0, we don't stop. Okay? We have to go a little farther. And the idea here is this is parentheses times parentheses, right? So one parentheses times another parentheses equals 0. What do we know about those parentheses then? one of them has to equal 0 at some, one or the other has to always equal 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to take each parenthesis and set it equal to 0. So we're going to say either x minus 2 equals 0 or x minus 3 equals 0. How do I solve the hugely complicated problem of x minus 2 equals 0?
Add 2. X equals 2.
We add 2?
To the other side.
I have to laugh as several of you said subtract 2. Obviously, we are hugely complicated today. Okay, so it's x minus 2.
You're the big smart.
We add 2. If it's x minus 3, I'm going to add 3. What are my solutions?
X equals 2 or X equals
X equals 2 or x equals 3? Okay,
Is that the answer?
that's the answer. You're done.
So you literally just set the parentheses equal to 0.
Yes. Yep.
That's it?
That's it.
Harder.
I told you, this is the easy method of solving quadratic equations.
My
So,
ultimate question is, do I need to be prepared to cry?
not today.
Not today?
I don't think so.
We can tomorrow.
Yeah,
Maybe tomorrow.
No, tomorrow's a quiz. You know what's going to be on the
Yeah,
quiz. Prepare for the
exactly.
quiz. There's no crying. Okay. Now, moving along, folks. Okay. So, my job today. Make the equation equal to 0. Factor it. And set each factor equal to 0. Okay. Yes, some of you will notice, oh, hey, in this particular thing, I used -2 and -3. My answers came out to be +2 and +3. Don't get in the habit of just saying that automatically, though, because there are going to be other things that happen. But be in the habit of showing these steps. Okay? Okay. Let's try equation 2. What are the solutions to the quadratic equation? X squared minus 7x equals -12. What's my first question to myself? Does my equation equal 0? Oh, it doesn't?
No.
Oh, well, okay, so here's the deal. Don't start anything yet. We're going to make that equation equal to 0.
What?
How do I make that equation equal to 0?
Add 12.
Add 12 to both sides. Since it's a, bless you, -12, we're going to add the 12 over. If I add 12 on one side, we add 12 on the other side. So now I have x squared minus 7x plus 12 equals 0.
So it's just extra confusing. Yeah.
What, the first step?
Yeah.
It's not useless because we have to have it over there so we have the right product with something happening.
It's just that one step to get you the right.
Okay, yeah, you have to do it to get where you need to be. So now, my question, next question is there a greatest common factor?
No.
No. So now what?
Put in your pencils. You factor it.
Okay. So no GCF. Do we know how to factor this? This is in our form of x squared plus bx plus c. So this time I need a product of 12, which is your c term, and a sum of, what kind of 7?
-7.
-7. Focus up here, please. Okay, do we know what numbers multiply to be 12? And I don't know, are you guys past making, some of you are past making the list of 12s.
I'm not.
But if you need it, still make it, right? My list of 12s. 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Well, there's only one pair that can even think about giving me 7. 3 and 4. If it multiplies to be positive again, same signs.
Same.
If it adds to be negative, both negatives. So now, I didn't do it already, but x squared minus 7x plus 12 is going to break into two parentheses, right? X squared is x times x. What numbers go in there? Minus 3, minus 4. Okay, two parentheses multiply to equal 0. So,
X minus 3 equals 0. X minus 2.
okay, set each one equal to 0. X minus 3 equals 0, or x minus 4 equals 0. And it's not that you have to write the or in there. I don't know, sometimes do that just to kind of show, okay, it's one of these answers. If x minus 3 equals 0, what do we do? Add 3. And so one of my solutions is x equals 3. If it's x minus 4, add 4. X equals 4. Possible solutions?
X equals 3.
X equals 3 or 4. Now, in Math Excel, I think you just do a comma. 3, 4. That brings to mind, the Math Excel assignment will not be open when you walk out of this class because I changed plans on the fly. I can make it open to you later today in case you want to start working on it, but ideally, what I want you guys doing tonight is studying again for this quiz. Okay? And I will tell you, if for some crazy reason we're on 2-hour delay again tomorrow, no, I guess I don't know what I'd do. Hopefully we'll just be here on time. That would be good.
That'd be kind of sad. I hate the day.
Okay. Now, yes, we're going to do this one, but I also have a couple of extra examples I want to throw in. So I may save this one. We may come back to this one. If I don't get to it today, we may come back to it the next time I do notes. You'll just have to remind me where we're at. But I want to put an extra example.
I have no time for that.
Okay, you have an empty backside, yes? Draw an arrow and put yourself that you have an empty backside.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
Just, you might, remind yourself.
Your backside is not empty.
Is your backside not empty because you've already used it for doodling?
Doodling. No. Oh, man.
Okay. I mean, that's what I'm at, if you don't have room because you've already run into that space, then, put it somewhere. You just might make a note to yourself in the front, more examples on back.
Imagine if you
My example says, I wrote it kind of small, didn't I? Sorry. I'm not used to the big Q for this lesson. 6x squared plus 8x equals 0. First question. Does it equal 0?
It does equal 0?
Yes?
Yeah.
Second question. Is there a GCF?
Yeah.
X.
Oh, there is?
X.
2x.
Oh. Is that maybe part of the reason Mrs. Sargent put this one up here?
I don't know,
Yes.
maybe.
Maybe.
Probably not.
Okay. GCF. Okay, so you're telling me. So what do 6 and 8 both divide by?
2.
2.
X.
And
X.
they both have an x. So we're going to divide both of these by 2x, which what that means, recall, is we are factoring a 2x out. So 2x out in front. What is 6x squared divided by 2x? 6 divided by 2 is 3, and there's an x. So 3x plus 8x divided by 2x. 8 divided by 2 is 4. X is canceled. Could you see factoring a GCF out tomorrow on your quiz?
Yes.
Yes. And you would just stop there, right? There'd be no equal 0. However, we're not done. Notice, I have two factors multiplying to equal 0. I have 2x and I have 3x plus 4. 2x and 3x plus 4 when multiplied equal 0. So what's the step I take then?
Take it out.
What do we do? If I distribute, I'm going back to the original problem.
Just
Oh, sure. I didn't think about that.
What do we do on the past two when we had two pieces multiplying to equal 0?
You multiply them together.
No. We set each part equal to 0. So what am I going to do here?
setting
So I'm going to set each part equal to 0. So I'm going to set 2x equal to 0. And I'm going to set 3x plus 4
Oh,
equal to 0.
so you use the whole.
You're using the whole factor, which in the case of 3x plus 4 is the whole parenthesis. In the case of 2x, it's just that single term that's out front. And now we solve these. If it's 2x, 2 times x equals 0, how do I solve for x? Divide by 2. 2 times x, divide by 2, divide by 2. What is 0 divided by 2? 0. So one of my solutions is 0. 3x plus 4 equals 0. How do I solve? If it's 3x plus 4, we're going to subtract 4. 4 minus 4 cancels. 3x equals 0 minus 4, negative 4. If it's 3 times x, we are dividing by 3. And we get an answer of what?
Negative 0.4 repeating.
Throw the calculator aside.
Nah,
3's cancel.
it's not passive algebra.
Negative 4 divided by 3 is negative 4/3.
Darn.
Okay?
Oh.
Now, is there a decimal equivalency?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, negative 1.3 repeating. Math Excel is not going to let you put negative 1.3 repeating. They're going to want a fraction here.
Darn it.
So, what are my answers?
X equals 0, x equals negative 4/3.
X equals 0 or negative 4/3. Okay, do I have time for one more?
I don't know.
You got like a solid 4. I mean, you got a solid 3.
Maybe.
Well, okay, so this will tell you, got one more example here. We'll see how well prepped you are for the quiz you're supposed to take today.
Next.
X squared minus 25 equals 0. Yes, you could have to factor x squared minus 25 on the quiz without the equal 0. Now, does my equation equal 0?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Is there a GCF?
No. What's 1?
It'd be 1.
No other GCF other than 1, and factoring out 1 doesn't change anything, so no GCF. How do I factor x squared minus 25? Perfect squares.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is difference of squares. It does go into 2 parentheses. X squared. What's x squared always break into?
X.
X times x, or the square root of x squared is x. Square root of 25. 5 times 5. How do you multiply to get a negative 25? Positive
Opposite.
and negative. Just like every single other problem I've done today, what do I do now?
Equal them both.
Set each part equal to 0. So x plus 5 equals 0, or x minus 5 equals 0. If it's x plus 5, we're going to subtract 5 and get negative 5. If it's x minus 5, I'm going to add 5 and get 5. Solutions are
X equals negative 5 or negative 5.
x equals negative 5 or positive 5. Which, if you happen to find the symbol on Math Excel, you could say plus or minus 5.
Oh, the fancy.
You could also just say 5, -5, or vice versa. Okay, so this goes with lesson 5.4. We will finish these notes, I'm probably looking at Monday.
You said 5.4.
Isn't it 4.5?
4.5.
You're way whole chapter ahead.
I just jumped this a whole chapter overnight, it's okay.
It's okay, good try.
Okay, so 4.5, we will finish the notes on Monday, for this homework to be due on Tuesday. I will try and get it available, okay? E-Learning Friday will be IXL. Your homework tonight is to study for the quiz,
Yay.
okay? That means take that review worksheet and work some more example problems, right?
Yeah.
Okay.